All right, so we're gonna start out with a little bit of soft tissue work. We're gonna take like 60 seconds for each thing we do. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna roll the calf. And we're just gonna roll up and down with that lacrosse ball. So I'm gonna try to go from the back of my knee all the way up so I get to my ankle. And I figure out what works, where I'm gonna feel that sweet spot, you know, that tender spot that kind of hurts. And I can rotate my leg in and out till I get to it. So for me, it's right about here, so more like lateral calf. Maybe you feel a little bit more on the inside. But once I get to that spot, I'm going to go just over it in both directions. All right, so a nice short movement, just enough. And then after that, I'll sit on that sweet spot and I'll start to move my ankle through it. It's going to be quite uncomfortable. You could move your ankle in circles. You could do dorsal and plantar flexion, whatever feels good for you. All right. So we'll do that, of course, for both legs, 30 to 60 seconds. And then we'll roll the foot. So we want to roll, same idea, from like the ball of the foot to the heel. Again, moving inside or moving to the outsole, whatever works for you, wherever you're going to feel that. Like right here, I feel it. Now I'm not going to move my ankle here. I might wiggle my toes, just trying to get the joints in the foot to move around as I try to knead out that knot in my foot. Same idea, 30 to 60 seconds. After that, we'll take it to the floor. I'm going to do this with a lacrosse ball, and I think I'd like you to do it with a lacrosse ball, but feel free to do this with a foam roller if it's just more, it's more comfortable for you to do. All right, so I'm going to take that lacrosse ball and put it like right by my armpit. And I'm going to try to roll that lat, and I've already found my sweet spot. Give yourself as much support as you need. So let's say you want it to be a little bit harder. Give yourself a little bit less support and bring the body up. This is pretty intense for me, so my body's going to lie on the ground as I roll. Same as before, you're going to go up and down. We're working from the shoulder all the way down that lat. Whew. Do what feels good to you. Feel free to use the off arm for support. And when you find that sweet spot, you're going to want to move around. I like to reach up with the palm up and come back down to the hip with the palm down. Again, 30 to 60 seconds each side. If you find that spot sooner, you don't really need to roll the full length of the muscle. You may also want to roll around and see if you find more than one spot, because that can often be the case. And lastly, we'll roll the pec. So you may want to do this up against the wall, but I'll show you how to do it on the floor first. So I'm going to roll from that shoulder joint right by the front delt toward the middle of my chest. I'm not going to go all the way to the middle. And same idea, I'm rolling kind of side to side. And when I find that sweet spot, I want to move the joint. I like to do kind of a shoulder press out to 45 as I sit on that sweet spot. All right. So that's your soft tissue work. We want to do about 30 to 60 seconds on both calves, both feet, both sides of the lat, and the pecs. All right, so I know when you think of 90-90, you usually think of sitting on the ground and swiveling your hips. That is a 90-90. But this is a different version of 90-90. We got 90 degrees at the knees, 90 degrees at the hips. We want to press our lower back against the floor and bring our chin to our throat. Just trying to relax that neck, quiet those traps. And we're just going to do 8 deep breaths. We're going to do 2 sets with 8 deep breaths. So we're going to fill up, and the ribs should rise as the belly fills. And then we want to empty. Completely letting those ribs relax and drop. When you're doing this, it's not a race. Take as much time as you want. We want to make sure the shoulders don't elevate. We want to try to keep that lower back in contact with the floor. Trying to learn to breathe diaphragmatically and keep those shoulders out of that activity when we get into our boxing or when we finish our boxing. All right, again, 2 sets of about 8 breaths. Give yourself maybe 20 seconds in between rounds. Take my feet off. All right, don't judge my feet. They're not very pretty. All right, so next exercise we're going to do is called a short foot. We're literally going to try to make our foot shorter, helping to create that arch, make a healthier situation for our feet. So I want to try to bring my arch closer to the heel. So I'm going to pull back against the floor. Notice I'm making my foot a little bit shorter. And I've got a flat foot, but you can notice that there's a bit of an arch forming under my foot as I scrunch everything together, pressing those toes into the floor as I pull the ball back toward the heel. Even if you're not making a super high arch, it's still going to help you develop that stronger arch position and use of your foot. All right? So after we do that for a set of 10 each foot, we'll then go right into tib raises where we'll go 10 each foot. So I'm going to have one foot out in front, and I'm just going to pick up the foot as high as I can, hitting that dorsiflexion. So I'm activating, strengthening my anterior tibialis, the opposite of my calves. If that muscle gets stronger, the anterior tibialis, then my calves should get relaxed, lengthened behavior from it, and that'll help calm down what's going on with the calves and make a lot of your lower body movements easier. All right, so we've got 2 sets of short foot for 10 each foot, and then we have 2 sets of tib raises for 10 each foot. We're going to go back to back with these exercises and then do another round. All right, so next up, we're going to do side lying book openers. So we can do this with or without a foam roller. I'm going to give you both options. So I like it with the foam roller just because it can get into my hip a little bit with this top leg supported by the roller. And I also feel like I get a better spine stretch, but to each their own. All right, so I'm just going to open up and I'm going to turn everything. Oh my gosh, I'm so tight. Oh, I'm going to open up, then return home. And I'm going to do this for 10 reps on each side, just one set of 10 each side. All right, and if you don't have a roller, ooh, sorry for the extra sound effects. If you don't have a roller, feel free to just stack the knees on each other and let that body fall over that top side. All right, I'm not going to force myself to stay centered. I'm just going to fall over that bottom side and then still perform the same thing. I'll get a little less hip, but still an excellent stretch. I like to make sure I turn my head with that arm I'm opening with. Honestly, I have no idea if it makes a difference, but I like it. And that's our book opener. All right, here we go. Next up, we're going to do a prayer stretch. So I'm going to use the ring, but normally you may use like a bench or even a couch. So I'm going to place my elbows on the ring like so. And I'm going to keep my abs engaged. I don't want to arch too much. I want to keep the abs engaged. Hands are together. And I'm just going to allow the head and everything else to kind of hang between the arms. All right, we don't want to arch. Like this looks like I have more mobility, but I feel nothing in my lat. I want to keep the abs engaged, keep the spine straight, and then sink into the floor, allowing those lats to stretch, creating some space in those shoulders. So we want to hold this for about 30 seconds. Boom. That's our prayer stretch. Here we go. Next up, we're going to hit banded wall slides. So we're going to take a mini band. We're going to put it around our wrists, and we want to externally rotate so that our arms are neutral. So see, my arms are pretty much parallel at shoulder width. I'm going to put my forearms up against the wall, keeping the shoulders down, away from my ears as I slide the arms up and down. Trying to keep my hands against the wall. It's okay if your elbow leaves the wall. Elbow leaving the wall is going to allow me to go up a lot higher. Do what you can, though. Just go as far as you can, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, keeping the lats relaxed. All right, we're going to do 2 sets of 10. Give yourself about like 10 to 20 seconds rest between each round. All right, next up, we've got single leg glute bridges. All right, we have a couple options of what we can do with our off leg. We can go straight up. I already feel a little bit of a hamstring stretch. If that's challenging, feel free to just bring the knee down or bring the leg down, bending the knee. Some people even hug the knee as a way to keep the other glute from helping. That puts it on the ground, so it's not going to do anything. So whatever you do with this, it doesn't matter as long as you're comfortable. We're not using that off leg. I'm pressing that lower back against the floor, and I'm going to curl up one vertebrae at a time for 2 sets of 15 each leg. Just be mindful of where your leg is. Like if my leg is too far out in front, I'm probably going to feel a lot of hamstring doing the work instead of my glute. If I'm too tight, I'm going to feel a lot of quad doing work instead of the glute. So ideally, you're right about 90 at the knee, but play with it, all right? Again, you feel too much hamstring, move back. You feel too much quad, move forward, all right? 2 sets of 15 each leg. Part of what we're going to do, last part is sort of warm up or cool down, depending on when you want to do it, before or after your boxing. We are going to do an eccentric squat, meaning we're going to go down on our squat for 3 seconds. So my feet are about shoulder width. Maybe they're turned out a little bit. I want to externally rotate the hips a little bit. So I'm rotating those knees out. It's going to kind of turn on my hips. And I want to use the tripod. So I want the ball of my foot, the pinky toes, and the heels to be dug into the ground, almost gripping like what we were doing with our short foot exercise. I'm going to put my hands together and squeeze them like a bodybuilder. My pecs are going to light up. Pull those shoulders down and back. My lats are going to light up a little bit. I'm just going to work down nice and slow for 3, 2, 1, and then I'm up. 3, 2, 1, and I'm up. Now, when you get up, it doesn't have to be super explosive, like you're jumping or anything, but it just doesn't need to also be that 3 seconds on the way up. All right. Pay attention to a few things when you're squatting. Right. Pay attention to what you feel in your low back. Pay attention to what you feel as far as your heels. So I'm on my way down. By going nice and slow, I can really feel when things change. So like right now, my lower back is pretty tight. I should come up. I might be able to go down lower, but boom, my heels are coming up. My back is rounding. These are things that are going to happen if you go through that feeling of your body telling you to stop. All right. So again, we're going to use that eccentric. We're going 2 sets of 10. Everything is tight. And once I feel something is off, that's the signal that I got to come up. All right. So that's your warm up or your cool down. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes.